Hey, what's up everyone? This is Justin with Lights Over Loveland. Before we get into today's video, I just want to first say a huge thank you to Chris over at Area 52. If you have not checked out his newest video talking about the black triangles, go check out that video. I am actually featured about 45 minutes into that video, and I am so incredibly thankful to be a part of that project. It was an amazing video that I highly recommend with so much good information in there. Head over to Area 52, check that out. Today we're getting into the Book of Enoch Part 3. We are going to be diving into the flood, and we're going to be talking about what happened when the Watchers did their genetic hybridization program down on Earth. In Part 1, we covered the contact event, the Watchers descending on Mount Hermon. In Part 2, we opened the forbidden download, the weapons, the vanity, and the mind-altering tech that accelerated human history. Today we look at the results. The Watchers' experiment worked. They successfully created a hybrid species called the Nephilim. But like so many genetic experiments, it went wrong. The hybrids were violent, unstable, and dangerous. They didn't just rule the world, they consumed it. If you've been following this series, thank you so much. The support has been incredible. And if you'd like to deep dive into my research notes over on my Patreon or join a conversation in my Discord server, the links are down below. Now let's get into today's video. Today we talk about the flood. It wasn't a punishment for bad behavior. It was a biological cleanup operation. It was a hard reset to save the human genome from total extinction. The Nephilim were the offspring of the Watchers and human women. We often picture them as just tall guys, but the text implies something far more terrifying. They were apex predators. They started to consume everything humans could produce. They stripped the land bare, and when the crops and livestock ran out, they started to eat humans. Think of this in ecological terms. This is exactly what happens when you introduce an invasive species with no natural defenses for it. They were genetically engineered killing machines. They had the intelligence of the Watchers and the raw aggression of a wild animal. The planet was literally dying under the weight of their hunger. This wasn't just evil in a spiritual sense. It was a resource crisis. The Watchers had created a species that was unsustainable. If the flood wouldn't have happened, the Nephilim would have eaten our planet down to bedrock. But the hunger wasn't the only problem. The corruption was spreading to the biology of the entire planet. There's a line in Enoch that people often skip over. It says, the Nephilim and the Watchers then began to sin against birds, beasts, reptiles, and fish. What does that mean? It implies they were running genetic experiments on animals too. They were creating chimeras. They were rewriting the code of life on Earth, mixing species that should never be mixed. This was genetic manipulation on a planetary scale. They were polluting the biosphere with hybridized monsters. That brings us to Noah. The text says he was perfect in his generations. In modern English, we hear the word perfect and think morally, but in the old Hebrew understanding of the word, it actually means physical health. It means he was genetically perfect. He was the baseline. The Watchers hadn't messed up his genetics in their hybridization program. The flood was planetary quarantine. It was the only way to save the lab and save that original blueprint of the human. While the Earth was falling into biological chaos, Enoch, the narrator, was removed from the situation. This is a classic abduction experience. He was taken by the loyal Watchers Michael and Raphael and physically removed from the planet. But they didn't take him to a heaven made of clouds and harps. They took him on a tour of the infrastructure. He described seeing the storehouses of the winds, the mechanics of the stars, and the portals of the sun and moon. He has seen the back end of the simulation. He hasn't seen magic. He has seen the physics that he doesn't have the language for. The most terrifying part, he sees the prison of stars. He sees these stars, conscious entities, locked in the void for disobeying orders. This redefines what hell or the abyss is. It's a containment facility, a cosmic supermax prison for entities who break the cosmic laws of non-intervention. He is witnessing the cosmic justice system, and it is cold, mechanical, and terrifyingly organized. So the flood happens. The bodies of the Nephilim are destroyed. The biological threat is neutralized. But here's the scariest part about the Book of Enoch. Because the Nephilim were half watchers, immortal spirit/energy, and half human, mortal flesh, their bodies died, but their consciousness couldn't leave. The text explicitly states that the spirits of the giants became the evil spirits that roam the earth. This is the origin story of demons. In the modern paranormal community, we talk about disembodied intelligence, poltergeist, and shadow people. Enoch gives us a working theory. These aren't the random ghosts of dead people. They are the disembodied consciousness of the Nephilim. They are trapped here in our dimension. They are angry and they are hungry. This explains why the UAP phenomenon, the Watchers, and the paranormal phenomenon, the spirits, are so often linked, like we see at places like Skinwalker Ranch. It's the same family tree. The UAPs are the architects, the poltergeist are the residue of their failed experiment. The Book of Enoch isn't just a religious text, it's a dossier. It outlines the full history of non-human intelligence on Earth. Number 1, the contact with the descent. Number 2, the modification, the tech and the DNA modifications. Number 3, the cleanup, which was the flood. Their bodies were destroyed, but the intelligence is still here. The Watchers are bound, but their technology and their offspring's spirits still remain. Thank you so much for taking this ride with me. This was a massive amount of research. If you enjoyed this series, please hit subscribe. We are on the road to 500 subscribers. And don't forget to check out the Discord if you want to be a part of this conversation on a deeper level, where we have a community that we're starting there with all kinds of channels where we can communicate about all different kinds of things. So if you want to join the conversation, please check out my Discord. It is completely free and completely open to anyone who would like to be a part of this community. That's going to wrap it up for the Book of Enoch Part 3. Stay tuned next week as we dive into the flood myth. The myth that is in so many different cultures around the world and has the scientific evidence to back it up. If you're enjoying these videos, thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for supporting this community, and I can't wait to bring you guys some more information and knowledge, and we can try to get to the bottom of what's going on with this phenomenon. Maybe we'll find the answers in one of these different ways of looking at the phenomenon. So, until next week, I hope you all have an amazing day filled with love and light.